Welcome back, everyone, to a special episode of I Can Do This All Day. This is our second episode of being able to record live with each other. We've been doing this podcast for over 3 years, but we are here in the home of the Resident Jedi. And I am Dan, the Part-Time Avenger, and that's Mark, the Resident Jedi.
Hello there. We practice social distancing regularly, states and states of social distancing, but circumstance brings us together. One of us is laboring in this area, so we've come together to speak of a Labor Day movie, a movie that speaks to us. It's not about us, but it speaks to us, and we speak it many, many different ways. It is the classic work friend buddy comedy, The 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Judd Apatow's 40-Year-Old Virgin, starring Steve Carell, Michael Scott himself, but it is Labor Day, and we usually like to pick a themed movie for this day, and in years past, we've done Waiting, we've done Office Space, and we thought, why not pick this movie, because a lot of it takes place in a work setting, very similar to a Circuit City or a Best Buy, and that is Smart Tech. And Jay runs Smart Tech up in this pitch. So we're going to be quoting this movie a lot, but before we go into the ridiculous quotes and laughing fits, Mark, why don't you tell everyone your origin with the 40-Year-Old Virgin?
I can't remember if I saw this in theaters or not, but this was just such a great watch when it came out. And it was one of those things that I immediately bought on probably DVD at the time. And it was pre when you could readily availably get things through the internet to watch that wasn't streaming, but it somehow played on your computer. So this was firm DVD purchase, pretty well when it came out, and it was a constant because it's so funny and it's so relatable to anybody that's worked in a retail sales setting with a bunch of immature men. This is so just real. It's so real. And it's just great. We picked it as a Labor Day movie because it just reminds us of the good parts of the shitty jobs we've had.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, my origin with it is definitely didn't see it in theaters, happened to rent it one day, and I had not laughed that hard in forever. So many quotes, so funny, and we just rewatched it, at least a little bit of it before the podcast, just to be able to kind of stay fresh on some of the lingo. And there's so many quotes that I forgot about. And this is just comedic gold. So we're just going to be gloating about this movie for the most part. There will be some critiques about it, but overall, that's our origin. And who doesn't like to talk shit at work? And that's what these guys do for the most part. Obviously, there's the whole story about a man in his 40s that is not partaken in certain sacraments of life, and the misadventures that lead up to him actually having sex. So what better way and what better actor to do this than Steve Carell? I don't know if anyone else could have played that lead role.
I mean, Stephen Colbert probably could have done it, but not as well as Steve Carell.
Yeah, he has like a true innocence to him, right? And it's believable. Like, you almost believe that, like, oh yeah, I don't think this actor's had sex. Like, but he plays it so well. So did you know anyone that was like Andy when you were at work? Like, a person that was probably a 40-year-old virgin?
I didn't know anybody that was actually a 40-year-old virgin. I did know like a 25-year-old virgin.
Ooh, that's also a rarity.
It was an interesting situation. That's a story for another time. But I there was always the people that were, I don't want to say nefarious, but those that were notorious and those that were not, right? I mean, those people that in their early 20s lived life
and fun. Sowed their wild oats,
yes,
if you will.
And those that, no, I can't do that. That's disrespectful. Not if it's consensual. So I think that there's just a fair amount of back and forth there. And that's the fun part of this movie, is it takes it to an extreme in many ways in this movie, right? Lots of things are to extremes, but
I think that it so many of the jokes are real things that happen.
If you rewind back to like when, and we don't need to go into the details, even though all the listeners want to know our sexual exploits and everything. But if you go back to what I would imagine any kid, when they're in their adolescence, wondering what sex is all about. Before the whole sex ed class in, I think it was like 5th grade, I was clueless.
Mhm.
It's almost embarrassing as to what I thought sex was and how babies were made.
Mhm.
So to be 40 years old, for Steve Carell's character Andy, just to be able to be that clueless, and I guess it's possible, but we're in the age of the internet now.
Yeah, it's not possible anymore. I mean, you know, he had access to things like Boner Jams 03. I mean, you could figure that out.
It was the best boner jams of 2003.
It was.
That was just a great lineup. And
are you laughing because you made your own Boner Jams tapes? Like some of us made power hours for drinking that had different clips of music. Danny made a pumper hour, basically, is what he's saying.
Absolutely not. But I did watch the deleted scenes and the director's commentary of that. Paul Rudd thought he was being so clever when he came up with Boner Jams 03, but on his t-shirt it says 2003 on there, so that's the only reason that he said the line. So but it's stuck in the movie. And one of my favorite lines in that is Boner Jams 03. It's like, I still make that reference to this day, and most people don't get it, but if you do get it, you should be our friend.
Yeah. This is one of the first movies that I remember going out and getting the unrated version as well, and actually releasing an unrated version. I can't remember. I think this was the first truly movie where they improv so much that you could put together a solid movie in an unrated manner by taking the jokes longer, deeper, wider, and dirtier.
And you bring up a good point, because we were just watching a clip earlier. It was probably my favorite scene out of the entire movie, and that's the Kevin Hart scene with Romany Falco. I think that's his name, right? The dude, Jay at Smartech, where Kevin Hart comes in, and that scene, what I thought, got cut short. But I realized that, the only way that I've seen this movie is the unrated version, and that's the DVD that I bought and rented. So I think when it comes to unrated movies, you always expect like the more jokes. But I think, at least I know from some college experiences, where one of my friends thought if it said unrated, it totally meant that there was going to be bare breasts in it, more of it, nonstop, and that's what it was. That's what he thought. He thought that if you saw unrated, like, oh man, that means you get to see your chest. He used a little bit more colorful language to that, but I want to be sensitive to our female audience that's out there.
Yeah, the 40-year-old virgin, very sensitive movie to the opposite sex.
But no, do you remember? She was a hoe for show.
Did you write down she's hurting for a squirtin'?
Yeah, she was. Oh my god, I freaking love all those clips. But so this friend of mine in college, do you remember The Sweetest Thing with Cameron Diaz and Christina Applegate? I think it was.
Probably. I've never seen it. I remember that it exists. For some reason, I know it exists.
The reason why I know it exists is because my friend saw that he could rent the unrated version of this movie, and he's like, "Oh, you get to see Cameron Diaz and Christina Applegate's chests in this," and we're like, "I don't think that's how it works."
That is not the sweetest thing that they're referencing.
Oh my gosh! But
that's hilarious.
Yeah, so 40-year-old virgin. The only way I've seen that is the unrated version, which I think is the best version, because you get the best jokes and the true genius of all those actors in it. You get a chance to improv, you get to see some good laughs, and the scene stretches out just a little bit longer, but I don't think it's too long.
It's not. I don't think it's too long, because you just laugh the whole time. And this is a movie that I feel like this is one of those movies that comes out once in a generation that brings so much talent together that you look back on now, 20 years later, and everybody's a headliner. Kevin Hart, one of the biggest stand-up comics in the world, is a side one-scene bit character. Jane Lynch is in this. Paul Rudd. There's Avengers in this.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, look at how big Steve Carell is. You look at Seth Rogen, who's gigantic. Everybody in this movie, there's so many just there's two people from Marvel movies in this with Kat Dennings.
Oh yeah, Darcy. That was a nice surprise. I totally forgot that she was in this. I knew that Catherine Keener's character had a daughter in it, but I didn't realize it was Darcy from Thor. And she's always great too. And she looks just like herself, just like a slightly younger version of herself, but still as sassy and still quirky of a character. So I love that. With the cast, I loved and related so much to the different people at Smart Tech. Like Mooj was my favorite.
Yo, everybody had a Mooj at their job. Mine was named Al, and he was like a 6'6" older black gentleman who was hilarious.
It's so comical, and you don't get a chance to see too many like Pakistani or Indian comedic performances.
No.
And you get a little bit, I mean, Kumail Nanjiani, he's great, but it wasn't as much abundance, and so it was really cool to see. One of the funniest characters is a person of color, and just his accent, which is a Brooklyn accent, was just nonstop laughs throughout the entire thing. And then I loved seeing him again in Zack and Miri Porno.
Well, remember, he was in Encino Man, too. He's been acting forever.
I don't remember. What was he in Encino Man?
He was a random character again.
Okay.
Like just background. But I remember him in Encino Man. Is one of those people that just everywhere. But again, to your point, there's so many people in this. Jonah Hill wanted to buy the shoes with the goldfish in them.
I just want to take these home so I can wear them.
Mindy Kaling is in this. I think that we all forget about Elizabeth Banks being this absolutely, it's almost cringy to watch how this hugely respected actress now and producer and director, this huge star, was this absolutely objectified, just terrible character. And you're just like, I'm sorry. Like, I want to apologize for the early 2000s to Elizabeth Banks. But she's so funny. And she keeps a straight face in it because she likes to do it herself.
That whole scene with them just saying, like, just ask her, just repeat what she said.
Dude, tell me you didn't try that in real life.
Oh, absolutely.
And it worked.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's so good.
Funny. And just the fact, like, after that scene, he's just like, that totally worked. I said absolutely nothing. Great scene. And it's another, I like the camaraderie. It's like another example of dudes lifting each other up, because even though that Andy's like an outsider and he's a virgin, these coworkers band together to get him laid and to get his game better. Which, dude, that's a solid favor for someone in their 40s.
It's also like just did you ever have that group of friends where there was that one that you had to kind of build up and you had to kind of tee him up for him?
Oh yeah,
because he just stepped on his own feet through everything. Like, I had a friend that I used to jokingly call him the cock block goalie, because he would not only cock block himself, but normally there would be a radius on his cock blocking ability. Like, he's boner killer. But it was just so funny to watch him just try and just like think he was doing okay. And it wasn't.
The radius of damage was just too much.
Oh, it was. But it was like, you look back on it now and it's just hilarious. But at the time, it's just like, oh my God. oh my God, read the room, bro.
But I mean, is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
You know, I don't know. You know, if I have to hear Yamo be there one more time, yeah, I'm gonna Yamo burn this place to the ground.
Oh, God, so quotable. And the funny thing is, these quotes aren't even that funny. It's just the memory associated with the movie.
Well, it's just like the things that you actually said. Like I really feel like so much of this is so it's like could really happen. Like I'm very discreet, but I'll haunt your dreams.
The best Jane Lynch quote out of the
Oh.
entire thing. And that and like there's the reference, like the ridiculous nonsense banter back and forth between employees and management, like talking about their days off. And it's like, what are you gonna do on your day off? Like, I'm just gonna get baked and talk about watching movies. It's Gandhi baked is awesome, and I never really understood the reference because I never partook in that back in the day, and so it was just like feeling bad that you're just snacking while watching Gandhi because Gandhi's starving. You feel a little bit guilty, but you're so baked while you're doing it anyways. Like that's fun. It's so funny to me. It almost makes me want to try that now, just because. Like, do you feel bad? I want to try it out.
And also the other thing that I love about this is they have their own inside jokes that go throughout the entire movie. Like how I know you're gay, you macrame'd yourself a pair of jean shorts.
Well,
they do that in that scene outside of work. And then in the scene where Steve Carell's hugging sad who was it? It was Paul Rudd. The other guy comes in and says, I know you're gay because you're holding each other
ever so gently.
And I'm just like, oh, it's because they do it all the time.
Yeah. That's people giving each other shit at work is the best. That's their home away from home. And that's what guys do. And I'm sure girls do this as well.
You would assume, but it's also the thing that made those absolutely terrible jobs bearable.
Yeah.
Because you're going to fire me from a job where I'm making like barely above minimum wage. Oh, there's plenty of these jobs. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to ruin my life. You're not going to ask for a reference. Everybody's hiring with a mirror for these jobs. As long as you're breathing, you're in. And it's just a constant. And there's not like I don't want to say there's no HR here, but the standards bear differently in the corporate world versus these first jobs, especially those retail jobs. Oh, a simpler time in life.
Did you ever have any friends, whether it's high school or college, where kind of like almost an American Pie type conquest, where everyone was like, all right, we're going to make a pact, or we're going to try and get so-and-so laid, or anything like that? Anything like that happen?
I mean, no, because he wasn't willing.
Okay.
No, because he wasn't willing. Like we tried, there were those friends that we tried to set up multiple times, and they would just fumble the ball, or they would be like, "Well, no, there was a friend that the cockblock goalie friend that I tried to set up multiple times and give him some easy wins." And
what do you mean by easy wins?
I think you know what I mean by easy
I don't know,
wins.
like a game, like what?
Sometimes you get the V for victory. But I trying to set them up with easy wins, and like dude would try and turn a hoe into a housewife, and it was just really just funny to watch. It's a very similar age of innocence where it lacks the objectification that these people in this movie show towards the opposite sex.
I think you bring up a interesting thing that made me think: is this movie appropriate for today's standards, based on today's current climate of workplace etiquette, It's not. It never was. But at the same time, it was more acceptable at the time because it was a different
Well,
time.
I think that it bears. I think it's probably still bears very true in a lower level role, lower level job setting.
Sure.
There are a few caveats that make it much more difficult to, well, not even difficult, that make it less likely to be the same, and that's the internet.
Yeah.
And
Well,
dating apps and Tinder and all of these things where like you're not doing the speed dating and meeting Gina, you're swiping left on Gina, apparently. Or is it swipe right? I don't know. I've never swiped.
I don't know. I don't even know what swipe left or swipe right means. Like, is that the direction that you're doing, or is it the opposite? I don't know.
Yeah,
Whatever.
no. We were wifed up pre-Tinder. That's how old we are.
Thank God.
Sorry. Oh, yeah. Thank God is right. Oh,
Wouldn't want to put up with that shit nowadays.
But yeah, no. I've got to think that there may be, but the lack in a good way of toxic masculinity now, and the leveling of the patriarchy may change that up. But I don't know. I'm old, Dan. I hope that there's still a small amount of learning done in this way, but I also hope that there's much more accountability, because not myself, but I know a lot of people that were like pretty shitty.
I would think that nowadays, and if I can go back to my previous employer and saw the same ages of kids that were working together now in comparison to how I was, I wonder how different it would be. I wonder if they're still talking about stuff. I wonder if they're still giving each other shit as much as we used to, or what's portrayed in this movie.
We can hope.
Is it a bad thing if they do?
I think it's a bad thing if they do it in a hateful way. I think anything done in a hateful way is bad.
Sure.
But I don't think that when we did this kind of stuff, it was in a hateful way. And that was the best part about the jobs you had versus the high school atmosphere or whatever. This takes place, a lot of like American Pie, for example, or those kind of like teen journey movies take place in an age group between like 16 and 18. This takes place in a much wider age range of like mid 20s to 40 to well above, and it's more of an evolved age and variance, where it's not, there's only one innocent in this. Everybody else has kind of seen what's going on, right? And that's where I think that shit talking goes to another level. It's not bullying, it's just bullshit.
Yeah, and there is a difference, right?
There's a huge difference.
I feel like you can still give shit today as long as the other person is okay with it and you're okay with receiving it. So I've worked with people where they love to give it, but they cannot take it whatsoever, and which is the worst.
It's the worst.
It's so not fair, because you're basically just, if you're that person that can dish it out but can't take it themselves, you're kind of a piece of shit, because like, oh, so it's okay for you to give someone a hard time or needle them a little bit, but the second we push back on you, like, no, not money. Like,
well, let's not trigger them by calling them a piece of shit. Let's just say that they're not emotionally prepared for the impact they have on others.
Kind of a piece of shit, though. Isn't that the definition of piece of shit? I think if you look up Webster's dictionary, piece of shit, let's
think about the journey that they've been through. All right, let's have empathy. But in general, that person does ruin the vibe, right? It's a vibe kill for sure. But it's also, I think that I hope that over the last 30 years that there's been some evolution of society to bring people to more of an openness around these kind of things. But I also hope that people are still talking shit.
Let's be clear too. Pieces of shit also have a journey. It's just in the toilet. Not like
depending on the hemisphere, it could be right to left. It could be left to right.
Exactly.
The Simpsons taught us that.
Some people evolve and they no longer are pieces of shit in the toilet. Did you have a favorite friend of Andy's in the cast?
This is probably one of my top 2 favorite roles that Seth Rogen has. This and Knocked Up. are the movies I tolerate Seth Rogen the most in,
Okay.
and
Okay.
enjoy him in the most. But I think that all of them were strong. I don't think there's anybody in this movie that Martha'd me.
But do you have, like, if you could pick, like, oh, he would be I would like to be friends with him because he seems like the funniest or the best guy.
I mean, it
or
really
whatever.
depends on the, it's what ends am I trying to get to with these means, right? The reason you have a group of friends is because everybody has a talent,
Sure.
right? Like,
let's break that down. Hold on, let's break that down. So Romany Malco obviously is the womanizer.
He's the wingman. He's the best wingman.
Is he the wingman?
Oh, he's the wingman.
I don't even think he was the wingman. Was he?
No,
He wasn't
not
setting it up.
He's not the wingman, but he's the one you want to be your wingman.
See, I didn't
because you both can open.
I guess
you want two openers, man. You want Iceman and Maverick. You don't want, you don't want Slider in there. Nobody wants that.
Okay.
Slider's trying to wife him up, my guy. That's not it.
So I feel Paul Rudd's character, in my opinion, was the best. And maybe it's just because I have a bias.
Paul Rudd's character is the biggest cockblock.
What?
Because Paul Rudd's character is trying to wife it up.
See, but that's...
Paul Rudd's talking about his ex. Paul Rudd's the one that you use to Paul Rudd's the one that you push towards the angry friend. Like Paul Rudd's the one that sets the pick and you roll out with the friend.
So that's a perfect wingman then.
No.
That's a perfect wingman.
No, because Paul Rudd's not trying to take one for the team. There's a difference. Right? Paul Rudd's like the flashbang. If you just wait too long after releasing the flashbang, they can see again and they're engaging and attacking, right? There's a difference.
I wonder, any women or girls right now understanding what we're saying? We understand it. But I don't know if you guys get the terminology or whatever. I would say because he's trying to wife Andy up, I feel he's the better guy.
No, he's not trying to wife Andy up. He's trying to wife up himself. Any woman that shows him any kind of attention.
Which we've all had friends like that.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's fair to say. Not the worst. It's frustrating. It's comical, though.
Yeah, it is. There's great stories.
I've had friends that, female talking to me? I love them. They're perfect.
No, but that's the friend that doesn't realize that they're dealing with the Elizabeth Banks in that situation, and they're trying to wife up Elizabeth Banks. It's just so funny to me.
If it wasn't for some of those people, though, I think we also, like the people around him would, or not him, for this pretend example, it's a him, but we would just be like, oh, we know what not to do because he showed us the way.
I mean,
like that's what it was.
I think that it's mostly common sense that we know not what to do. We didn't need to see it. We didn't need to see the example.
However, when you put it up on the PowerPoint, it makes it that much more of a learning experience.
I mean, I would love to watch back some of that tape for sure, for sure. But I think as discussing this, I think that Seth Rogen's character is the most versatile of the group.
Sure. But he'll go after some of the lot lizards, if you will.
He'll lot lizard, but he can also wingman.
Yeah.
He can have you met Ted in that situation too.
Very true. Very true. It's such a great group of characters. And the fact that they're all just trying to, and for the purpose of this movie, they're all just trying to get this guy laid. And a simple task, simple plot? No. It's not a simple plot. It's got layers and it's got levels because there is some emotional depth to it. And Andy's such an innocent. He's a good guy. He is. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between when you say 40-year-old virgin, I think it's uncharacteristic of his personality. I think he's just his neighbors like him. There's 40-year-old virgins out there. It's because they have no choice but to be a 40-year-old virgin.
It's just a they didn't accidentally kick somebody in the face.
he was just, for Andy Stitzer, and I love that name. It's such a 40-year-old virgin name, Andy Stitzer, and he's a good guy He shows up to work. He rides his bike. I don't see any character or personality flaws other than the fact that some people may say you have too many toys.
You never have too many
And
toys.
that's Steve Austin, $6 million man. He's just don't touch the packaging. Like he's so fanatical about the toys, and I can respect that. I was never like that with toys until I became 40 years old.
Until you're an adult and you're like
Yeah.
thinking about the value, not the playability.
Exactly. But it's such a lovable character, and the fact that he's so there's a difference between gross innocence and just ignorant innocence. And the gross innocence is like, yeah, those people that you look at is like, oh God, no one's going to touch them with a 50-foot pole. Whereas the ignorant innocence is like, this person just doesn't know any better. Oh, but bless their heart because they are just trying to be good people.
I love the bless their heart. It's so true.
I think overall, for the characters in it and all the different scenes of him trying to evolve, from the speed dating, from the party they go to where they're all wigging out, and Leslie Mann was in that, and she's like my favorite actress that has the same kid voice that just travels throughout. It's just so funny to me. And that's I believe, is that Judd Apatow's wife?
Right? It is.
Yeah. And I love the fact that he brings in his wife. Nepotism at its finest.
Well, he brings in eventually all of his kids.
Yeah, his kids.
The whole family is there.
And you should. You should, because if you're gonna work and you want to have fun at work and you want to be able to control it the way you want to, why not bring in your closest friends and family? And that works for him. That works every single time. And even Jonah Hill, who was kind of lesser known at the time, still funny role in it. But he brings him into to Superbad, which is another fantastic movie. But yeah, that's what 40-Year-Old Virgin's about. It's just a good time. The quotes never ending. The cast, the music. Thoughts on the music?
I don't even remember the music.
Really? You don't remember Asia or the Age of Aquarius song in there? Like I know.
Well, I mean, the Age of Aquarius song is such a deep cut reference.
It is. I didn't even know that until you told me what it was.
Yeah, that it was from Hair, and that the dancing was representative of a very old deep cut musical.
Yeah.
That was eventually, but I think that especially that music, that music hit, the Age of Aquarius, is such a representation of the innocence that they still want to portray in the film, because they could have went all, was it Scary Movie or Scary Movie 2, where dude came and it just like blew her up to the ceiling. Like that's what you're expecting from this movie, but they did it in a kind of a classy way. It was discreet, but it'll haunt your dreams.
Oh man, I'm just looking at the soundtrack. Really, really good.
Get Your Freak On was in the Leslie Mann scene where they're driving.
I think so, right?
Because she's rapping.
Yeah.
All of us, which anybody who has been in a car inebriated, that's what you do.
Yeah.
You just
Rex and Effect, Rump Shaker. Who remembers that banger from back in the day? I know you have, audience. Let's take a look and see what we got. Red Light Special by TLC. Minute by Minute by Michael McDonald. Oh my god, so funny. But you got Doobie Brothers in there as well. Salt and Pepper, Push It. God, just
real good
hits on this. Lionel Richie with Hello, where he makes it like such a romantic fireman time right there. Like it's just so ridiculous. I can't believe that stuff. Like, oh god. So good. Yeah, and then Candy by Foxy Brown and Khalees. Like that's coming up on TikTok now. Like that song.
All of these are they're not new songs, but I think that the music supports the movie, but the quotes are the thing that carry this. Like the one-liners in this movie that you've got to think like they can't all have been written. They did so much off the cuff in this. And I mean, you bring in a Steve Carell who is, all Second City all the time, and Jane Lynch, who comes from that same school, and you bring in these like talented comedic writers. Like, do you think that that you think that Kevin Hart like just read that from the script. They had to just send those two out there and let them go.
Yeah. And I think that is there's differing thoughts on that. Like Quentin Tarantino hates it when you don't read what's on the page. Right. And so like that's one of his things. But Judd Apatow is like, all right, kind of let it fly. Like, all right, say it this way and say it that way. Maybe spin it a little bit different, say it with a different inflection. And I don't know, like I guess it depends on the type of movie that you're doing and the director style. For Judd Apatow, he gets me. And he is able to create a scene with the actors, and the actors obviously create some of that dialogue as well that is very relatable and highly entertaining, because not a lot of stuff is entertaining nowadays.
So I think you got to look at it two ways, right? Like Quentin's trying to tell a story. Judd is trying to make something that is full of laughter and fun. Quentin worked at Blockbuster and was the smartest guy in the room, and self-drove himself to make things better. Judd came up at NYU with all these amazing, funny people, pun intended for that movie, and worked in a much more collaborative writing fashion, right? Grew up with Sandler and all these people. So he came from that collaborative nature. So of course you're going to collaborate, where Quentin like made his movie from his mind, and this is my vision, and the wording and the dialogue is specific to the story and the layers. Not a lot of layers to the 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Sure.
Right? It's about the jokes. It's not about the layers. So you can fuck with it a little bit, and it's not trying to be serious Oscar contender material. All respect and love to Judd Apatow. This is not like, he's not writing this for the Academy.
Let me ask you this though: do you get more emotionally invested from an Apatow movie or a Tarantino movie? Because mine is, I'm more emotionally invested to an Apatow movie.
I think it depends. I watch them for different reasons.
Sure, but has a Tarantino movie ever made you cry?
I don't know.
That's one of the things I never thought about until recently. So like a lot of movies now, if it brings some type of emotional response from me, crying from like whether it's happiness or sadness or feeling bad for a character, totally get it. I've never gotten that emotion from a Tarantino movie, but I've got it from a James Gunn movie. I've got it from Russo Brothers movies. I've got it from even an Apatow movie. Maybe not necessarily cry, but you feel bad for a certain character. I don't know if you ever feel bad for like Mr. Orange in Reservoir Dogs. I don't know if you do.
So I think that Tarantino drives with a level of aggression and a level of like shock. Like that's what he writes. I think the most emotional film he's done, more recently that I can think of, is Inglourious Bastards. And I think there's some scenes there where, the kids are hiding, and then the
Sure.
like that's emotional. Right? And there's definitely a lot of emotion there. But I mean, you go back to like Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs and stuff, and that's more of a, an aggressive, angry, and you feel different emotions. You still feel emotions, but it's just different.
Yeah. You're right.
I mean, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like Leo, you feel bad for him a little bit. You got some pity.
So I might be alone in this one, but
you don't like that movie?
It was just too fucking long. Now I love the twist at the end.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
I love it's so good.
I will say though, each and every minute that you think these people are going to get killed, and it doesn't happen. Like, I'm on the edge of my seat. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's a very good movie. Do I think it's one of my favorites from his catalog? No, not even close. Because to me, it was just a lot of exposition.
Yeah.
And it's just there. And like I said, you can perv out on Margot Robbie's feet all you want, but at the same time, Did I feel bad for? Was it not Cliff Booth is Brad
Brad
Pitt's
Pitt,
character?
yeah.
Who's what? Rick
Rick
Dalton.
Dalton, yeah.
Okay, I never feel bad for Rick Dalton. Now, Leo did a great job acting in some of the scenes, but at the same time, I don't give a shit about that character. I was more worried about Cliff getting killed. So that was that. That was it, and that's and maybe Margot Robbie's character. I can't remember what was her. Who did
Sharon Tate.
Yeah, Sharon Tate. Sorry, we obviously know the tragedy that happens with it, and you're thinking that's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I didn't know going into the movie that it wasn't going to happen. They were going to Inglorious Bastard it, but I still thought it was like it was like one of those laugh out loud cheering
such
moments.
a good twist. Yeah,
it was great. It was
I
great.
think that that's the thing. Like Tarantino brings out emotion just differently.
Sure,
you're focused on the cry emotion, but
yeah.
even there's scenes in Kill Bill that I just like when she's banging his head into the door in the hospital, or they're talking about how they've been abusing her in it while she's in a coma.
Yeah,
it's really disturbing, and that's just the that may just be the emotional range that Tarantino can operate within. You got to look at the limitations of the person and also what they do. I don't find Quentin to be, even in conversation, terribly funny. He's introspective. He's thoughtful.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. He's not the guy I would say, that guy's going to crack you up.
Sure.
If I talked to Judd Apatow for 5 minutes and I didn't laugh 5 times, I would be disappointed.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? And that's just the feel.
Yeah.
So the emotions are in this movie. They're in every movie, right? And it's just different.
You got laughter. You have a little bit of melancholy, and you feel bad for the stuff that Andy's going through. But at the same time, you're having a fun ride.
Yeah. This is a fun movie.
Yeah.
This is a movie that you turn on after work to release you from the pain that you carry during your labor on this day.
Did anything Martha you about this movie?
At first, the end of the movie did. Like,
Okay.
I thought the song and the weird dance at the end, like, I didn't necessarily get the references deeply when I was younger. After having then seen it, or at least parts of Hair, it's funny.
I still don't like the ending of it. And we're talking about the Age of Aquarius.
The part that
song.
makes it so funny is most of the actions that go on during the movie up until the end are a 40-year-old hanging with a bunch of 20-year-olds. At the end, it's 2 40-year-olds doing 40-year-old stuff. So the funny part is we're too young to get it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And it's like, this is Andy being Andy, and like, this is what the Age of Aquarius was about. It's
Fair
just
enough.
that awakening and that hippie, like, it's just that. And that's the real genius behind that turn at the end, is it's no longer about trying to be cool and younger and
Yeah.
it's like, no, I can lean into my man-o'-lantern and just I don't have to Kelly Clarkson my chest.
Yeah. No, when you put it that way, that makes sense. But I mean, I still would have liked a cookie cutter ending for that one. And it's just because this guy has gone through his life, 40 plus years old, and finally gets to meet the love of his life. They have 2 hours and 1 minute of sex, and there you go. It's whatever. Cut to a funny scene, but like, is it funny now? Sure, and it was funny then, but like, I just thought it was such a hard 180.
Yeah.
That I'm like,
Yeah.
all right.
That's one of the stretch jokes in it. But now looking back on it, seeing these huge stars that are, Paul Rudd, Steve Carell, and I thought the star of that scene was Seth Rogen singing all deep and doing like,
oh man, I thought Romney Malco doing the MC Hammer dance was top.
Yeah.
That was
that's somebody that I wish we saw more of. Like, what happened?
So I thought he was going to be the next big thing.
It should have been
him and Kevin Hart. Like, Kevin Hart, stratosphere.
Yeah.
Romney Malco, I think he did a couple TV shows. I don't even remember him in a lot of stuff. That's one of the things for me is he is one of the funniest characters in any comedy movie I've watched. And I just wish I could see more of him.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's funny? He was in Night School with Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I remember that, but it's not like he is the forefront. I expected him to be at least at the very least, the friend and whatever, and he still gets a lot of
He did a lot of
screen time.
TV, I guess. But
Yeah. TV and no shame to his career at all, but I just wish I would have seen him in more funny movies. Put him
Agreed.
next to like Martin Lawrence, Chris Rock, Will Smith if he ever decides to get his head out of his ass. And I guarantee you're going to have a great 1-2 combo. I mean, shit, Damon Wayans Jr. was freaking fantastic in Let's Be Cops. He could have been that character.
Could have been. But, we don't know why. And
maybe he just likes TV. I don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe there's some behind the scenes. I don't know. Who knows? But Romney Malco, you got a fan in me. So I'm all about it. But we talked a lot about this movie. We quoted quite a bit. And I'm sure we even detoured a little bit to talk about Tarantino. But hey, this is our podcast.
We do that.
That's what we do, is we talk about stuff we want to talk about. But I got a question before we wrap this up. When it comes to the 40-year-old virgin, Mark, can you do this all day?
This is like the biggest yes you could have. I mean, I can't not love this movie. I think that I can love this movie so much that we can put on the non-unrated version by accident and be just heavily disappointed that this scene is too short. Where's the additional ridiculous dirty jokes? Like, what's going on? So yeah, no, I will continue to quote and love this movie. Are you agree? Or are we same? Or are we doing that thing where I love it and you hate it?
No, this is an easy, I can do this all day. This is one of the movies I've continuously quoted since it first came out, or since I first watched it, I should say. And it still holds up. Dude, the scenes still hold up. Just watching it, even the intro to the movie, it's so funny. And you could not watch this for a few years, come back to it, laugh. You could watch it the next day and still laugh. And so that's a great comedy. And it's been a long time. It's a very short list of great comedies. And this was the last one, in the 2000s that was like freaking fantastic. And then we finally got Step Brothers and Ricky Stenicki, another one. If you haven't checked that movie out,
Ricky
check out
Bobby. Like this was, I think there was the Judd movies and then the Will Ferrell movies and John C. Reilly movies that were just so good.
Apparently, except for Sherlock Holmes.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen it either.
I just let it be.
I heard it really sucks. So I was like, how could it suck that bad? It's those two. And
you never know.
I don't know.
You never know. I you know what I think is really underrated is Walk Hard.
God, that's a great movie.
It's so good.
Fuck. Wrong kid died. You don't want no part of this shit, Dewey. It's called Reefer.
It has no negative side effects.
It sounds kind of expensive. It's the cheapest drug there is. But on that note, that wraps up another episode for the I Can Do This All Day podcast. I'm Dan, the Part-Time Avenger. That is Mark, the Resident Jedi.
Like, subscribe. Let us know what your favorite Labor Day movie at I Can Do This All Day podcast, wherever you do your socials. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Give us that 5-star review like we give the 40-year-old virgin 5 stars.
We can do this all day.